Alright, so in today's video, we are going to be reacting to the hashtag Save Siege, reacting to Fett's video that he made on this. A lot of people were asking me what I thought about this, so I just want to talk about my own opinions on the hashtag Save Siege and just react to this video, because I think Fett made a good video people wanted me to watch. But if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, be sure to comment, but let's get into this. Alright, before we start this video, I just want to talk about my quick opinions on the hashtag Save Siege thing, and that is this tweet that I had made. When this whole movement had first started, I basically made a tweet saying, I honestly just want more content, either secure or hostage in ranked, because there'd be all new strats for every single map with every single operator when you're on a completely new game mode, to where they wouldn't even have to add in like anything new. There'd be so many more strats if you could play secure or hostage again in ranked, like it used to. You used to be able to queue for that. You weren't forced to play it. Used to queue for it. Like, think about it on Villa basement. That's never used on bomb unless you're lurking. But there's no sight down there. Secure area, there's a sight down there, right? Every single thing could be changed. The whole meta could be changed for each game mode, and it would just put so much more content into the game. And you don't have to force people to play it, but you could give people an option. Because I'm not trying to play casual to play that mode. I'm not. So that's one idea. A 1v1 or 2v2 leaderboard game mode. I would like a rank in it, but I could see if they wouldn't like a rank in it. I just think if you have a 1v1 and 2v2 game mode, it gives you something else to do aside from ranked, and you put a rank into it of some kind, whether it's a leaderboard or a rank, and it would give people a reason to grind it out, and it won't die off. But I think a 1v1 or 2v2 mode would be sick. It would be something else aside from the 5v5. Challenges for each operator, or even a skin to grind for, kind of like Call of Duty has, like, you know, diamond skin or like a dark matter skin, like that. Give me something to grind while I'm just playing ranked. Give me let me unlock a mastery for Ash and get some crazy headgear, right? Give me something, a reason outside of just going for champ if you don't want to add in a ton of new content, right? And I said new maps. We want new maps. I said the biggest thing is the people want a mode with ranked, something to grind for, such as charms. So when game modes are added into the game where it's mainly casually orientated, people stop playing it quick as there's nothing to go for. Many people, including myself, just want something else to really grind and feel like it's worth it, like it was in ranked 1.0. I think that's true. No one wants to play some game mode that's going to die out in a week. Like a casual game mode that they come out with, they're going to die off because nobody has a reason to play it. That's just my opinions on it. Let me know what you think. And we're going to talk more about opinions when we watch this video, but let's get into it.
Everyone's been saying Rainbow Six Siege has been dying for years, like almost the entirety of its lifespan. But for the first time in its entire lifespan, I actually feel like Siege might be dying. Jinxie, Siege's unicorn biggest streamer ever to hit the platforms of Siege, has moved on to Clash Royale. The new season that they just dropped had like no content. Is that it? And with beloved esports figures being laid off from the staff, you can't help but feel like Ubisoft has almost given up on Siege. And I'm sure the community's felt that too, because a certain phrase has almost rebirthed itself after 5 years. Hashtag Save Siege.
Yeah, this used to be a thing.
Over Siege social media posts.
It was, I guess, a while ago too.
In this video, I'm gonna tell you everything that's wrong with Siege and how I would fix it, because I still think that it could be the greatest FPS ever made.
It still can. It still can. Don't worry, by the way, I'm going nowhere.
People often want to blame the devs when anything's going wrong with their video game. Why'd you make this change? Why aren't you making this change? They're a very easy target to point fingers at. But to be completely real with you guys, the real problem is very, very far from the devs. The real problem is all the way at the very top of Ubisoft, the executives that oversee the financial decisions with the parent company itself. Because I know content's been low, but the devs can't make more content and better updates if they don't get funded to do it. We can't ban enough cheaters if the anti-cheat team is one of the most relatively small out of any big game title in the world. I've met the devs and they really care about the game. They've been listening to a lot of
this is true.
changes, and a lot of the things that are bad just happen because they're planned out 3 years in advance, like Blackbeard being added when shields were the most broken ever.
This is very true. I got to go to the Ubisoft Montreal. I'm sure you guys may have seen me in the reveal. Devs were amazing, very caring, asked me a ton of questions. They actively wanted me to tell them what I disliked about the game and stuff that I would change. I think I'm allowed to say that. I believe I'm allowed to say that. They care. They are very nice people, very good people. They, you know, they genuinely wanted the criticism. They wanted me to tell them what I thought and what I did not like, what I did like. And I was straight up with them. I'll always be honest with them. But they're great people. And that's why it's like, it's hard to say that because then people are like, oh, you're just meat riding the devs. And it's like, there's no point. Like I'm not. I just genuinely got to meet them. I got to see them. They genuinely do care. I think they just need I think if they could listen to some of the community a little bit more, I think they would understand more. But like, they're really, really good people.
That's just real unlucky timing. I'm gonna be real. But even though they might not be perfect, the devs care.
They do. They definitely care.
The pros care. Everyone really wants this game to succeed, even if we do wrong things with it. The issue is the ones that seemingly don't care are at the top of the ladder calling all the shots. And it seems like they're more focused on min-maxing and squeezing as much money as water out of a rock out of Siege as they can than actually investing into the game. But Fett, that's easy for you to say. I mean, anyone could just say, just invest more money. How do you know they have the financial means to invest more money? Well, Ubisoft tried to make a game called X-Defiant, which was at the time dubbed to be a...
I actually liked X-Defiant. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Slightly lower and disenchanted player base of...
I maxed out that scar. I maxed out my scar on X-Defiant.
Hyperscape, a game that wanted
Great
to
game.
compete against the other battle royale.
No, but not this game.
Also, Shut Down and Dead. Roller Champions, a game that wanted to compete with Rocket
not
League,
this game either. Hell no.
Soccer type game, I don't know really. Shut Down and Dead. Skull and Bones, which is supposed to be the world's first quadruple A game, meant to compete against, I guess, Sea of Thieves or some bullshit. I don't know. It's dead. It's gone. No one plays that game. Everyone hates it. April 2025, Ubisoft is reportedly developing a new battle royale game that is heavily inspired by Apex Legends. Ubisoft execs believe that Apex's player count falling could give them an opportunity to develop a similar game. Hey Ubisoft, you have repeatedly tried and failed to create a game in a space that competes against big other live service, massively multiplayer games over and over and over again. But do you know what game you have that is so unique, that has a massive player count on console and PC that no one can compete with, that used to be a thriving tier 1 esport?
Rainbow Six Siege.
This game literally used to be in the same category
Damn.
as League of Legends, CSGO, and...
Look at that. Siege at the tier 1, bro. I still to this day think Siege Pro League is the best out of any game. I mean, I'm 100% biased, but still. I just love Siege Pro League. I could sit there and watch Siege Pro League all day.
Dota, why are you trying to make a new esports title if you already had one? A game that started off dead, clawed itself back into relevancy in 2018. Have you ever seen that, by the way? Have you ever seen a game start off dead on release? It's horrible, and it clawed itself back into relevancy, fell off, clawed itself back to another new peak player count in 2020, again, fell off again, clawed itself back to another peak player count in 2021, and then again in 2024 when Jinxie came around. Not to mention, this is just Steam charts. There's also all the Ubisoft...
Yeah, people are like rocks, bro. People be like, I'll talk about how Siege isn't like dead, because I'll go over like, because Siege is not dead. Siege is not dead. Look at the actual charts on like console. It's not dead. It was like literally just like the 7th most played game for how long now? It's definitely declining, but it's not dead by any means. It's like, if you look at the monthly player charts, there's over like 5 million monthly active users just on console. And then people will be like, oh, well, look at these Steam charts, like rolling from Stupid Town. But they don't realize that so many people play Ubisoft Connect. I don't play Siege Steam. I've never played Siege Steam. I play Ubisoft Connect or Uplay. Like, a lot of people use Uplay, so you can't just use Steam charts. But, you know,
which is probably more than the Steam.
Yeah, as he's saying right here.
And not to mention the overwhelmingly massive console population, which is...
Console's huge. People don't understand how big console is.
I would not be surprised to see millions of players playing Siege. This is your title right here that you need to focus on. This is your successful live service game. You just can't help but feel like they don't even know what a Siege is. They just look at the numbers and call it a day. I saw your 2024 financial report, Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed made you $4 billion.
Damn, Assassin's Creed made $4 billion. Holy shit. The Division made $1 billion. Just Dance. There's no way Just Dance made $1 billion. Who the fuck is playing that game?
Rainbow Six Siege made you
Division's a great game. Far Cry's a great game. I didn't think Assassin's Creed made that much though. Holy shit.
Profiting games.
I love Assassin's Creed though.
Are you trying to go up against giants like COD or Apex Legends or Sea of Thieves or Rocket League when you have a unique game that no one can compete with? It's right there. And at the end of the day, it just feels like this is a company that like doesn't really see the games as games, but rather as like numbers for them to just keep maximizing profit. Riot Games made a show about League of Legends called Arcane. If you don't live in a rock, you know what Arcane is. It's one of the most successful and award-winning game adaptation show ever. And it created songs that had like 400 million streams on Spotify. It created some of the biggest songs ever. Arcane lost money, by the way. Arcane went negative, by the way. But you want to know what a Riot exec said to that? People think we make things like Arcane to sell skins. Winner today, Dapper, pennies. And with profit, you go pause the anti-cheat.
Playability, cheaters. Chapter 2. Cheaters are cooked, bro.
Now, cheating has been a problem in Siege for a long time. It feels like every single day a pro or a creator is crying about cheaters. But usually it only affects the top of the ladder, so usually normal players' playing experiences are affected. This season is bad because there are people in gold
What the fuck
and
was that clip?
silver now that I have personally heard that are globally experiencing playing against cheaters. Not only that, they made the casual version of this game free to play. And if you know anything about free to play versions of games, you know that those immediately get infested with cheaters. Counter-Strike. And I play casual a lot. I have so many clips of actually people just running outside the building full aimbotting, and it just sucks to know that people getting into the game, their first taste of it will be cheaters 3 out of 5 games. I mean, my main mission with content is to grow Siege and Siege esports, and I actually branched out into Counter-Strike for this reason. I had a really successful 200,000 view video watching Counter-Strike, and a lot of people came into my chat after that saying, "Hey Fett, loved your video on Counter-Strike. You made me want to pick up and try Siege." And it just hurt me in the heart to know that these people were picking up Siege, loading up into casual games.
It is
and
cooked.
just playing
The
against
cheaters,
and
the cheaters are so fucking cooked, bro. As somebody who plays, especially the last 2 seasons, I'm being dead serious here. I have hit champion every single Siege season. Every single season. The last 2 seasons, the cheaters have been so horrid that, like, I've hit champion with a negative win-loss. Negative. Why? Oh, how'd you hit champion with a negative win-loss? Well, here's the thing. When you get your elo back after the cheaters get banned, the win-loss does not go up. I don't care what anyone says. The win-loss does not go up. I had a week where I played 6 legit games and 22 cheater games. I will say this season it has been much better. There's still cheaters, but it has absolutely been better. 150% it has been better. But, like, it doesn't mean it's you know, great, if that makes sense. It's just I can actually play legit games. So I will not lie. I'll be 100% non-biased here. Last season was horrible. Last season I think I hit champ with a 0.9 win-loss. Like, bro. Like, I've never had that level win-loss. But, like, when you just play non-stop cheaters, it's just beyond cooked. Like,
that was our first.
It's fried.
Game. I was working my
not to mention console with elo trappers
into the game and back into the game, knowing full well they would come back to playing an unplayable piece of shit. Because that's the real issue with cheaters. Cheaters are not important because they ruin the competitive strategy or blah 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 blah. That doesn't really matter. Cheaters and quality life and hit reg and all these other things and sound and all that are important because of playability. No one's gonna play your game if it's not a playable game. And that's why I put this section before the content and game update section, because a lot of people complain about the game not receiving enough updates and content and changes that they make, but honest to God, a lot of popular games have had stretches or have stayed the same over the years, like CS has basically stayed entirely the same and it's still one of the most played games. What matters is that the game
That's not wrong. He's right. He's right.
Play. You need to be able to load in and
He's very, very right.
Ask anybody you know that plays all 3 or 2 out of 3 of Valorant, CS, and Siege. Ask them which game do they think is conceptually the better of the game. I can bet you like $20,000 that more than half of the people you ask will consistently say CS or Siege is preferred conceptually to Valorant. But they will end up playing Valorant more.
I like Valorant.
That game is just more playable. I'm gonna be real.
I've never played CSGO.
But it's so popular because it's playable. The anti-cheat is amazing. The hit reg is amazing. They prioritize these things going into the game.
If only Siege could get Riot's anti-cheat, man. Could you imagine that? Holy shit.
Of that said game. The thing with anti-cheat is it'll always be a cat and mouse game. Yes, I know, there will always be cheats, and they will always be ahead of the anti-cheat. But the thing is, the anti-cheat should always be trying to catch up to the cheaters. The cheats, the anti-cheat. It should not be like this. It should not be like this. It should be like this. They should be trying to reduce the amount as little as possible. GTA Online is a game notorious for having really horrible loading screens, to the point where people are saying that if GTA didn't have loading screens, it would easily be the top 1 game in the entire universe. Cheaters in Siege are like GTA loading screens. It just makes the game unplayable. Cheaters got so bad that Ubisoft made the cancel feature, where if your teammate leaves the game within the first minute, you can cancel the game, intended for like internet issues, but really used to dodge cheaters.
This was great for 90% of the people, or I would say 99% of the people, because like, for example, I was able to, anytime we got into a cheater, I would just abandon, because it would only be a 5-minute abandon. But the problem with this was they kept it where if you were to abandon games, your reputation would go up, because you'd lose 6 points. So I didn't realize that until it was too late, and then I couldn't play ranked. I had to do 100, I had to do like, I think it was like 20 games or something like that to get my shit lower. So this was great though for me, because I was actually able to get legit games. This was really bad for the top 1%, because if it was like pro players and people would see that it was pro players and they didn't want to lose elo, they would just cancel the game, so they wouldn't have to play against pro players. So like, that's why I turned it off. But still, man, it was great.
Cooldown for that 5 minutes. When I queued up with our friends who had very impressive ranks, our experience was this: we got canceled on, we got canceled on again, we got canceled on again.
Yep. As I was saying.
And
yep.
then we finally got into a game. Oh, it was a bunch of blatant cheaters that hit the servers after we won a round.
Alright, he's bringing that guy.
I'm a survivor. Oh, I told you, Fett.
my
I told you.
Yep.
Game.
Yep.
Every fucking.
Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Oh, I don't have all chat to. Oh. But Fett, if you ban all the cheaters, that's a big portion of the game's players that spends all the monies buying all the accounts. It makes Ubisoft's money. That's why they won't do it. That's actually been disproven. Cheater bots in Team Fortress 2 plagued the servers and made up about 1/6 of the player base. That's right, the ban weight hit 16,000 accounts out of the TF2 player base. And guess what happened? Like you saw in the headline, the player population doubled.
That's
over
crazy.
the course of
Holy
the next
shit.
couple of days. This spike is where they banned all those bots, which
That's
is
crazy.
1/6 of their player base, and then the population went up double.
May I add to this? This is the exact reason why I would love to see Zims get banned. Imagine if they were to permanently ban people who were Zim instead of sending them into like Mousetrap or PC lobbies, which I don't mind. Much better than not doing anything. I'll take it, them going into PC lobbies, but the only issue with that is when people have no recoil. So it's like you have no recoil on mouse and keyboard, or you're in PC lobbies on a mouse and keyboard with controller recoil. So it's like you're still like, it's still cooked. But like, if I could almost guarantee you, if they were to like go crazy hard on banning Zim players, you probably see a spike like this in players. But another issue that comes to this that I know for sure, and I actually spoke with them about, is you don't want to start banning them and then it be a false positive. Like their mousetrap is good, but it's not perfect. So you don't want to run into like the chance that you permanently ban a legit controller player. Because I'm sure some people who are watching this, they probably, or they could have been falsely reported as being Zim. So imagine if that player who was on Zim, who was on controller, got mousetrapped because the mousetrap didn't detect it properly, and then they got banned. Like that's probably why they haven't actually like permanently banned them. I don't think it's anything to do with wanting to keep the players around because they spend money. Like I don't think that's like a matter of fact at all. I think they're just not 100% certain with their mousetrap, so they don't want to just ban like legit players.
Because people want to play a cheater-free game. And even if only the top players gets cheaters, dude, that's your marketability of the game. The streamers, the content creators, the pros, the good players, the ones that hit the one taps, all the crazy people. That's who markets your game. One of Siege's biggest streamers and creators ever, if not the biggest right now for Siege, at least now that Jinxie's gone, literally made his name an entire career off hitting #1 champ. That is literally what Blue spoiled up, hitting #1 champ. I'm thinking of like content from other games, like League of Legends, where you interview the #1 Aurelia player, the #1 Yasuo player, the #1 whatever player. I interview the #1 rank player and sees what he's did different. All that potential for content and up-and-coming players, up-and-coming content, superstars and pros, all gone out, washed the window, because now when we look at a top 5 leaderboard, top 20 leaderboard on Siege, we assume immediately that they are all blatant cheaters.
This is very true, especially with console. Console is completely full of elo trappers. You look at the top 20 people, it's just losers who are elo trapping, which is why I personally believe that there should be like Ubisoft devs who sit there like maybe once a week, go through the leaderboard. You can see their elo trapping because you can go through their matches and you can see that it's like a 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, and it's like robots, bro. Like, just start banning the people. That's what I would do.
To one of my other points when I was on the 6on6 podcast with Nintero, that I talked about how I feel like the Spirit of Siege is dead because I don't feel like playing it anymore. And Nintero goes, yeah, well, maybe that's because you're getting old and you don't have a taste for games anymore. And I'm like, that might be true, and I agree with that effect if I didn't have access to a population of players called pros that I could gauge their opinions on. It doesn't matter if they're getting old. Pros should be playing the game all the time. My pro friends used to always stack up the top 5.
It's true.
AR and Spirits, when Spirits 1v1 Jinxie, he was a #1 champ. They would play all day long to get #1 champ. BDS and Sieqe, when they won the Yanchiping Major, they were champs 1 through 5. If
this is true.
Pros are not even playing ranked anymore because they're just gonna run into that many cheaters anyways, I think that's a pretty good measure of the play.
Back in the day, bro, you used to literally always play against pro players. Like, I remember how excited I used to get when I used to like queue in and we would be playing against like just like the top NA pros or T2 pros or T1, whatever it is, right? Like, you would always be like super excited to play against like the best players, and now like it's so rare that you will ever see a pro player in ranked, ever. There's just no point. The cheaters are cooked, especially in that high velo.
Left for Clash for the same reason, albeit it was stream sniping and different stuff that I can't really see a good fix to because he's just that popular. But I think that's the most important thing, is the playability. But alas, people mostly want to see changes to the actual game and the content itself, so we can't have a Save Siege video without talking about.
Let's see what he says. I'll tell you what I think about this.
Now, after the Save Siege trend started, a big Siege creator by the name of Macy J quote retweeted it saying, "I've been warning people about this for a while now." Now, if you don't know, Macy J is a really massive OG Siege creator that figured out a lot of cool ways to use the utilities and tricks in the game. And his complaint was that the game was always leaning too much towards a TDM meta where you could run around like a moron and shoot everyone and gun everyone down and play mindlessly and rank what Siege is meant to be.
Man, I miss old Siege, man. Like, look at this.
Sieging a building. This is actually a perfect reflection of, I believe, the debate between players on the state of the game right now, because I do believe on one end you have a lot of players who come into Siege wanting to play a tactical game and end up playing some FPS slop and are like, oh, why is this guy not reinforcing, running around going for kills? And on the other end, you have people complaining about how Ubisoft has actually slowed down the game through their changes. They've removed quick peeking from the game, they've slowed down your ADS speed, they've slowed down the character speeds, they've slowed it all down in the name of a Ubisoft dev specifically said that they were tired of seeing people like Sieqe peeking 400 times and going for one taps and pro. They wanted to see more Uto clear. So you kind of have these two extremes of it.
He's not wrong.
Too gunfighting, or is it too slow down and needs to be more gunfighting? And my opinion on it is that Siege is the best FPS in the world because both are equally viable options. It's not like Valve where you have to play try to see something and not die to something that isn't a gun for the 400th time every time you walk on the side. No, you can both walk at someone and out aim them, and you can play a really crazy util dump game multiplayers at any given time.
This is a great example of, and I don't mean to like point at myself here, but I play controller PC, okay? So I'm controller PC champ. I have to rely on my positioning and strats and like pre-firing rather than just walking in and taking gunfights like 90% of people who are on mouse and keyboard can do, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I can do that, but I'll excel when I'm focusing more on my positioning, when I'm focusing more on my strats. Like, if you ever watch my streams, you ever see me playing like PC Pro 10-mans, yeah, buddy, I'm not taking Ash and fucking walking in against fucking 5 mouse and keyboard pro players while I'm on a controller. It's not happening. When I get my kills, you'll see, like, in any of my videos, it's always based off positioning. Positioning is one of the biggest things in this game. That's why it's like you're able to do both. You could be on the mouse and keyboard and start fragging out and be in quick peeking, which, by the way, I miss quick peeking. Please bring that back. But you could also be tactical. You could do both.
I believe Siege gunfighting is the best FPS gunfighting in the world. It literally combines like COD fun gunfighting with tech FPS style, and it beautifully works. If you're on decent ping and you felt good gunfighting in Siege, that shit feels so crisp. The game has no aim assist on console, yet console players are still coming over to PC, 1v1ing PC players on a controller and dogging on him, which shows both how beautiful it is that you can be really snappy and spiky and have crazy satisfying headshot aim in Siege, but also out-position people and be
Exactly,
tactical with your
exactly.
gunfighting and micro-positioning. I think it's some of the best gunfighting in any FPS game ever, if not the best gunfighting in any FPS
I
game
agree.
ever. And for that reason, the people saying take away one-shot headshot, I mean, it would just remove the feel of Siege. I do agree with it on through.
I think a one-shot headshot taking it away is like a horrible take. Opinion, the one-shot headshot in Siege is what makes Siege Siege. So if you take away a one-shot headshot, it absolutely ruins the fucking, like, play style of aiming for the head, doing this, doing that. I think I could come to an agreement on maybe making it to where if you spray someone through a wall, headshot, maybe it takes 2 if you want to do that. But I think the whole take of, like, using different weapons, don't one-shot headshot, it's a brain dead take. I do not like that.
Barricades. I think through barricades or surfaces there shouldn't be one-shot headshot, but like wall bangs and floor bangs and shit. But I think the game is beautiful for that reason. That being said, I do not think the game will get any slower if you continue to slow down its mechanics. Just because I feel like the game plays aggressive because of how good people end up getting at the game over time. I once again go to League of Legends for another example. This was a top greatest champion. Bound to get more aggressive as players get better at shooting people because now they have the ability to walk in and shoot people. I don't think slowing the game down mechanically actually would slow down players' play styles. However, I actually do have a solution for this that a lot of people might not like, which is changing the sound. Now, if you don't know how Siege sound works, they basically try to make it as realistic as possible, and the sound only travels through openings, so that's doorways or holes. Thus, if someone's right next to you, but there's a wall between y'all, the sound you'll hear of them won't be through the wall, but through the nearest doorway. And for that reason, you have a lot of audio disconnects and a lot of weird maps with weird rooms because sound will just travel so weird in that room. Pros
Very true. Especially on Villa. Hell no. If someone's downstairs and you're in statue or trophy, that audio of it going up and going to the left or right, depending on where you are, is horrible, bro.
It's so much better on land. So with ping added into it, it's just like you can't even hear like an Ash rushing up a staircase, boom, 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 up a staircase because it just sound is just so strange. Honest to God, crazy idea. What if we made the sound linear? What if we made it like every other FPS game where the sound travels directly to you, to your spot, and it gets muffled maybe through however objects or barriers are in the way? It would make the coding in the game so much simpler. It would make it so much more consistent. And you know what game has perfect sound like that, where you can pinpoint where a player is if they're just near you at all? CS. It's all about gunning people down and shooting people and being really precise with your aim. Yet it doesn't play like the freak aggression fest that Siege ranked and sometimes upper level Siege plays like. Because you can hear everything everyone doing is if they're near you. That Ash won't be able to sprint up a staircase through a barbed wire if you can hear everything the Ash going up the staircase is doing. Make sound linear and give players an ability to walk completely silently, and players will have a lot more time.
Silent walking would be crazy. Could you imagine they had I mean, I know they have like an alt walk on PC, but could you imagine like an actual silent walk? I don't know if I'd like that. I don't think I would like that at all. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Including their exact moves. But Fett, if it's gonna get me wall banged and shit, good. Now instead of playing like a rat on defense, you're gonna have to sit behind cover on a power spot. Oh my god, how the game is meant to be played. And now instead of being able to run at that guy at a power spot with Ash, you have to actually like use util to clear him out of that spot. Like the end goal of what all these people are saying. If someone has to sit on a powerful spot and you can't run at that person on a powerful spot, you have to clear them out. Boom, the game plays like how it's supposed to be played. Honest to God, that's my like really weird wacko solution at making the game less rushy and TDM more tactical. There's a clip from a pro game where Canadian is literally DMRing this barricade in front of a player.
What the hell?
The player didn't hear him do it at all.
What the hell?
Joked at him about it. He said, "You must have not played this season because they have cooked something special with the sound." So yeah, people obviously would get away from playing fast if you can't hear anything they're doing. Speaking of the way the game feels, a really interesting tweet I've seen recently from our R6 Pro and four-time world champion JV92 is he said R6 is a MOBA, but with I don't know what the translation is supposed to be here, probably guns. You guys aren't ready for this conversation, and this actually got me thinking, or why does R6 feel like a MOBA recently to some players, but like a crazy gun fest to other players? Meta of the game right now overwhelmingly is made up of shields.
Yep.
That's right. In a shooter game, there are operators that have a big riot shield in front of them and carry it in front of them the entire time and are invincible as long as the shield covers their entire body. There are 3
Yep.
these operators and they buffed them into the stratosphere. And funny enough, my team abused those shields exactly to win the major because we figured it out before everyone else did. Now they're in every single attack. They are all S tier operators and they are absolutely insane. But if you're a casual fan or you're watching from the outside, this seems insane to you. What place do invincible riot shields have in a tactical shooter? It really makes
doesn't.
no sense that you could just sit there with a riot shield and clear people out and endlessly pressure them and sit there just unharmed, unable to be touched.
I hate shields. I would say that if you look at the people who ban shields, like the percentage, I'm 100% a large portion of them. I will ban shields almost every single game that I can. I literally despise shields. When I do 1v1s or 2v2s, they say my only rule is no shields. They're just annoying. I would literally remove them from the game if I had the option to. I would never have them in the game.
Riot shield in a shooter game, especially for the mass majority of the player base, which is console. It's much harder for these players on joysticks to flick to the head once the shield ADS is in when you've been trying to shoot at their feet this whole time, because that's literally the only area that's slightly vulnerable if they're not a moron. Otherwise, they can cover their entire body by just looking down and being invincible. I actually do have a solution for how I would change shields that also is very controversial. I actually think the way shields play in a strategy or a properly executed strategy is fine and is unique to the game. It's realistic. People do have riot shields in real life. I think the things that's unrealistic is that when a shield is able to stand there for 2,000 years and just stare at you with no way to punish that shield while you God knows what the rest of their team is doing. In this pro match of BNK FureX versus SG, this Montaigne, which is the operator that can fully cover himself with a shield, has been sitting in rafters for like the last 20 seconds of the round. If you go back earlier in the round, you can actually see him pushing into garage at 50 seconds and through the outline still in garage, and then 20 seconds later he's still staring at this guy in garage by himself. And you gotta think about it from the perspective of a defender. Even if you're not a Siege player, imagine this massive riot shield sitting in your face. If you turn away, he ADSs in on you and kills you. You can't turn away, you have to look at him, and that whole time he's invincible and you have no idea whether or not his teammates are coming around to get you or his teammates are going to get the rest of your team, which is what BNK FureX do, is they made it seem like it was going to be a garage dig and then they all hit the site. Right, but just like, I don't think a shield should be able to do that. I think that's actually the frustrating part of shields. Oh, Fett, just see for the shield. To that I say, you can tank C4s point blank if you just look at them with their shield, by the way.
That's crazy.
That's a thing. Anyways, I have another
That's actually
insane,
crazy.
just absolutely batshit crazy change I think would fix this. I think actually Osa is a shield operator that actually plays like I feel like a shield operator should play. There's risks and rewards to pushing up with a shield. I think the part of the game where they push in is fine with their team. I think the part of the game that sucks is when they just stand there menacingly invincible. So I think they should have an HP bar like Overwatch.
I would not be against an HP bar for a shield. That'd be great.
Should, like, equip another one or some shit, like an old Blackbeard shield. Or
Like imagine a Monty shield, right? And it has like a damage meter, right? Kind of like old Blackbeard. And maybe you got like 2 or 3 of them. And then like you can like slide a new one back in or something after it takes a certain amount of damage. Like just like how you had with the old Blackbeard shield. Like, when you put a new one on once it broke. That's what you do with the regular shields. You give it a health bar in the glass in the middle up here, and then you slide it back on. You give it maybe 2 or 3 if you want to, or however you want to balance it to, and then you make it to where there's a set health.
After you deplete their HP bar, your bullets start damaging the shield to the shield, because like I know the game's not realistic, but like in real life, bro, you're not gonna be able to sit there and tank 90 mags of a machine gun just with a riot shield in front of your face. Like at some point the bullets will start hurting you, right? And I think what that's gonna do is it's gonna force the shield to actually choose and pick when they decide to engage, and I actually think that might actually balance out the world on that. Now, other game changes I've seen people really bring up a lot is like this entire list, but like adding 1v1 and 2v2, 3v3 rank modes, different queues, different content games. I'm gonna be real, this is unrealistic. This is just not happening. Especially like even if we did add new queues, we do not have the player base to support these queues. They had a dual front, bro. You probably could not get a dual front game to save your life these days.
That's not true. Dual front, you could definitely get games. Trust me, you'd be surprised how many people, as much as I do not play dual front, I played dual front a few times, and it's only when my IRLs who don't play the game want to play. There's a pretty solid fan base of casual players who play Dual Front. You'd be surprised.
Like about 200 people total playing that shit, right? But what would actually help out, and speaking of game modes that people have frustration with, Rank 2.0. How would you help it? Well, here's the thing with Rank 2.0 is it actually kind of, as much as people are frustrated with Rank 2.0 and matchmaking, it actually kind of worked. People did actually want to play the game more, having like a progressive rank that as long as they played, they will get all the way to the top, and they have a reason to start from scratch every season instead of just getting their ranked and like not really caring or playing anymore. It actually did increase the amount of games that were
Why is he just petting his
The
cat?
problem with it is that there's a different side of the community that plays this game. One that actually wants to play really,
He's just petting his
really
cat's
competitive.
tail.
In fact, the game itself is just inherently competitive. I mean, people are sweat. I don't think you like play this game that much if you're not sweating at this game. So here's what I would do. On Rank 2.0, honestly, whatever, if it's good, if it's working for the game, if it makes people play, keep it. But separate it out at a certain threshold. Jinxie said this once, I believe, and so credit to him for saying this. At a certain threshold, change it off of Rank 2.0. Make it like regular plus minus gain again, and then add a top 500 rank, where you get rewards and maybe a charm with your top 500 rank after that season saying what number in the world you wore. Now, obviously, this assumes that you got rid of cheaters, right? Like, this assumes you got rid of cheaters. Otherwise, cheaters will just literally fill up this entire rank. But that would actually incentivize people to play the game, because guess what? That's the spirit of the game.
That's very true.
That's
This is
pride
what I try to
in
understand, bro. I want people to understand.
5-stack, playing the craziest strategies, sweating your ass off until 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. You could endlessly play the game back then, and you would watch streamers like Modiga, like the crazy rank
Yep,
stacks.
Modiga. That's what I was talking about earlier. The crazy rank stacks.
Play the game with each other for like hours.
You have to give people a reason to continue to grind. That's why people love charms. People love charms. People are not going to go play a casual game mode where they're not going to be grinding for something. You grind for that charm. If you don't have something to grind for, you're not going to play it. That's why you're not going to see as many people playing Dual Front. I told Ubisoft, I said, with Dual Front, I would add a ranked mode to it. Give people a reason to go and play it. Like, people don't want to play something for fun, right? At least a lot of people don't want to do that. Yeah, maybe some casual players will, but a lot of people just want to play it to grind. They want something to grind out. You know what I mean? Like, when the season comes out, I want to grind to champ. I want to get that champ charm. I want to grind out to see what my peak can be, right? So if a new like event comes out, I might play it once or twice and that's it. Why? Because there's no reason to play it. There's nothing to go for. So if you put a crazy skin in there that you get for doing whatever, that's something to go for. If you have a game with a leaderboard system, that's something to grind for on the leaderboard, right? There has to be something. Some sort of reason to make somebody return back to the game, if that makes sense.
Right, console tournaments will run all late into the night. Ranked is where it starts with that, and watching your favorite creators playing ranked endlessly on a playable game would make it happen. I think that you should have like the Ubisoft police in the top 500 and people's streams, making sure that streamers' games are cheaters free. I don't care if it's biased, it's your marketing strategy for the game, making sure that top 500 is squeaky clean. Reviewing
This is very true.
Games. And hiring more of an anti-cheat games to manually be able to go through those match replays and pound on those gains, because that is your representation of the game.
That's very true.
People don't have a reason to push anymore for the top if everyone can just get champ like the way they do in Rank 2.0. Speaking of the top of the game, another big debate that happens is that people really hate that developers seemingly balance around the more competitive side of the game when there are casual players. Now this one I don't really know the right answer to. The most stable esports title competitive games that are still alive out there that have the most steady player base, League of Legends, Apex, Valorant, those all balance around their top players. Okay, so like the model says balance around your top players because it makes sense. If a top player can abuse it, like this guy plays himself a flare base and is good. Shields are infinitely more broken on console. The F2 was a gun with crazy recoil and fast fire rate on PC that you are a maniac if you dare to go near it. On console, it's one of the most powerful guns ever because there's
no recoil.
I've heard this from multiple sources. Okay, don't lash on me for this. People find it easier to control recoil on the controller.
Yeah, way easier.
So I actually
Way
don't
easier.
know the answer to this. I mean, my answer would be to balance around the top for like at least operators and stuff, and actually not to over nerf, but actually over buff. I actually really like what they did with Goyo, getting him an additional canister when he was weak. Ying, another Ying when she was weak. They took Grim, who was like the weakest operator of all time. Just butt fuck useless.
Grim was horrible
Just
back
gave
then.
him another canister, made the canisters wider, made them last
Made them
longer,
bounce.
Made them crazy. Just
Yep.
opened the shit at him, and now he's one of the best attackers in the game, right? So I really like every attacker being like a broken option with their util. I kind of like the ability to be able to balance around scopes and adjusting util and stuff. So yeah, I really don't know. That's hard.
I agree with that as well. I personally enjoy the ability to balance with ACOGs or 1.5s, and a lot of people disagree, and that's okay if you disagree. I can kind of understand if you disagree, because you could make the argument, well, if you stop balancing around scopes, then you're gonna have then you can like just focus on the actual operator's ability. So that makes sense. But I don't know about you, but it was so much fun to see when the patch notes would come out and an ACOG would be removed and be put on a different operator, or the 1.5 be removed and put on a different operator. Like, it would be like, oh, remove from Legion, but now Alibi has it, and now it was fun. You're like, oh my god, now I'm gonna go play Alibi, right? Like, I know I'm 100% biased here, because if it was up to me, I'd give everyone ACOGs, but that was fun. Like, oh, Thorn got an ACOG now. Oh my god, everyone, go play Thorn, right? Or go play Oryx. And I get from a competitive standpoint, you don't want someone on Oryx running around the map just because he's a T5. But that's why I always made the argument, like, at that point, just give it to everyone, bro. Honestly. Either give it all or give it to none. You know what I mean? So it's like, if everyone has an ACOG, then people are just going to play for the ability. Maybe some people play for the guns, if it's a really good gun. But nobody's going to play Oryx. They'd rather play Legion. Legion's a T5, and let's say he had a 1.5. They're going to pick the person for the actual utility. So, that's me being biased, might be being fun, but I should enjoy when the weapons are balanced around ACOGs. That's just me, though.
I still believe it can be great. Do you?
Bro, I think Siege is just a game that's destined to fail, bro. If you don't update the game, like, there's nothing for people to play. Bro, the problem with Siege, like, I think people have the wrong perception of that game. People always sit and they're like, oh, like, cheating, oh, the cheaters, oh my god, all the cheating and the cheaters. It's like, bro, cheating is not even what killed that game. It's like, bro, on console is where majority of the people play Siege anyways, and like, yeah, there's Zims and shit, it's not even that bad.
Agreed.
Bro, the thing that killed Siege is just the game is stale. Like, there's no updates. I guess I could, like, say it now because it's also old from, like, a year ago. But, I mean, dude, I would speak with, like, Ubisoft frequently. It would just be me and, like, Ubisoft. And I would speak with them directly about updates and ideas I have for the game. And none of it got implemented, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like, none of it got implemented. You get, like, with Siege, bro, you'll get a new operator, like, once every fucking maybe 6 months you'll get a new operator. I'm
not gonna lie to you, bro. The thing is that I miss when we used to get 2 operators a season and 1 new map every season. Velvet Shell, what did we get? We got Coastline, or Mira, and Jackal, right? We would get the Cade, Nomad, and Fortress, right? And I can understand from both sides of the view, right? Okay, well, if we continue to go at this rate and you want the game to last so long, how many maps and how many operators are you going to have in your play pool? You're going to have an absurd amount. And then now imagine trying to balance if every single operator over the course of, if you want the game to last this long, imagine now having to balance every single operator to go with every other op. So I can understand to an extent on why they made it to where it wasn't a new 2 new operators every season, but I think it should still be at least 1 new operator every season. I don't really hate the whole outlook of reworking an operator, because when they rework an operator, it really is a rework. It's not like they just changed something like little. Like Clash, completely different operator now. You can place down, right? Blackbeard, completely different operator, right? So I don't hate the idea of that, but you have to have more content to back that when you're going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the biggest thing here, like, with dropping down.
And then you'll get a new map, like, once a year.
There should be a new map every season.
Realize all Siege had to do, and I'm not going to sit here and act like Siege would be the top game in the world, but all Siege had to do, it's literally this simple, is constantly give people new content and updates, but they never did that. They failed to do that. And, like, Ubisoft is a multi-billion-dollar company. Like, I know they have the resources to do that. They just probably didn't want to do that. But all Siege ever had to do was just update the game. Like, if every season, because the seasons are already rare, like, Bro, that's my favorite thing about Clash is the updates are every month. So you actually get new content every month. You get new cards, new arenas, new challenges, new game modes every month. That's what a game needs is updates. Like, look at a game like Valorant, bro, there's updates. With Siege, the game would come around once every 3 months, and half the time you wouldn't even get a new operator. You wouldn't get a new gun, you wouldn't get a new map. That's all they needed to do, bro. Literally, that's all they ever needed to do. I think the beauty of Siege is there's no FPS that is... If you
Very
actually
true.
play Siege, you'll never play a FPS that's actually better than Siege. When it comes down to, like, when you're in that 1v1 scenario and it's like a post plant and your entire team goes dead fucking silent because you're trying to, like, hear the last guy's footsteps and then you clutch up. Like, there's no game like Siege, which is... That's why, like, when that whole dual front mode came out, which is like some TDM mode, it's like, what are we doing? Like, why is there even a dual front? Bro, I don't even have the numbers or the statistics, but I guarantee you there's probably 200 people playing like, in the world. It's like, why are we trying to be like Call of Duty if, like, the reason why people play Siege is because it's nothing like COD. Like, I would never play COD because I've played Siege. Like, Siege is just a better experience than COD.
I agree on that. I agree on that.
But the problem is there's just no content. There's no updates. The game is stale. Like that.
There just needs to be more added to Siege. I think that's one of the biggest things, bro. Siege just needs more content. It needs either a new map every season, or a new operator every season, right? Pair those two with a combination of different game modes. I think, like, here's my take on this. Do I think Siege is going to die? No, I don't think Siege is going to die. And I'm going to try and do everything I can to help keep this game afloat. I have been playing this game since the day it came out. I've been playing it since the alpha. I used to play Rainbow Six Vegas 2 a ton. I'm addicted to the game. Like, it's physically impossible for me to go, like, if I go, like, 2 days without playing the game, I start itching, right? So that's the thing. Like, I've been playing this game before I made any money off it. I've been playing this game before I did any content on it. I played this game because I genuinely enjoyed it. And I still, to this day, enjoy it. As I told you earlier, if you've been listening, I played 6 games of legit games, 22 cheater games. Guess what? I kept playing. There's something actually wrong with me, right? But I genuinely love Siege. There is no other game like Siege. Whether or not I was making money from it or I was not making money from it, I would still be playing Siege because there's just no other game like it, which is why I want to do everything I possibly can to try and bring this game back to, to keep this game afloat. And obviously, I know I can't do that myself. I'm not some huge creator. I'm not Jinxie, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to add to the community as much as I can because I want to see this game succeed. I want to be the person that people can go to for tips. I want to be the person that can coach people. I want to be the person that helps the people who are new to the game learn the game. Because once you learn the game, it is so much fun, man. It is so much fun to learn and improve at this game. Whether or not it has the content, whether or not it has this, like, I feel like when you're at, like, a lower level, there's still so much to do. Like, the main people who want more content are the people who have been playing this game nonstop and are at the highest level. And I agree, that's me. I want more content too. But, like, if you look at somebody, like, some of my IRL friends who got into the game, they're loving it. Who needs new content when they're just trying to grind to that higher rank? You know what I mean? So, like, it doesn't really matter for them. Whereas, like, the people who are at the top, who have done everything, who have been champ, I've been champ every season since the game came out. I've been diamond. Diamond was the peak rank, right? Like, I just think it's like if they could just continue to push out content, it would satisfy more people, right? I'll never go anywhere. I think Siege can be saved. I really do. I don't think it's dead. I think it's declining. I don't think it's dead. There's still millions of people playing it. Like, that's a stat. That's not me, like, looking, like, that's not me just pulling shit out of the air. I have a whole TikTok on it where I went over, like, a whole chart and everything, the stats of the game, how it's doing, right? But it's got to turn around. Because you see people like Jinxie leaving. I think Jinxie will come back if they can fix it. I really do. You see people like Mingo, like, not really playing as much anymore. Richie, not really playing as much anymore. I promise you this, that I'm not going to go anywhere. I'll be here to the end. If I'm the last person playing Siege, I'll be the last person playing Siege. I love this game. So not only does it give me an opportunity to do what I love, but I just genuinely enjoy this game. And I appreciate you guys. So I think Siege will be okay. I just think Siege needs to start adding more content. I think there needs to be more content. There needs to be just more communication with everything and more of understanding of what the community actually wants. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of this whole Save Siege thing?